This is the 2025 Minnesota State Fair. This is the largest state fair in the country, and it's been voted the #1 state fair in the country. And only at a state fair like this can you find some of the most interesting and downright bizarre and just plain weird foods that can only be found at a fair like this. So in this video, I'm going to take you guys around the 2025 Minnesota State Fair and introduce you to some of the most interesting, creative, bizarre, and weird foods that can only be found right here at the Minnesota State Fair. I'm Dāv Kaufman. I travel to distant, exotic places and places a little closer to home to indulge in the culture and cuisine from the familiar to the extreme. There's always an open seat at my table for you, and sure, I'll pick up the tab. This is Dāv Kaufman Eats the World. So the first place we're going to hit up is the Blue Barn. They always have something new and interesting and quite unique, and let's face it, just a little bit weird, and that's what I love about the Blue Barn. The Blue Barn has a brand new item for 2025, the Sweet Squeakers. It might not just be one of the weird foods that you can find here at the State Fair, but I've read the description of this and it sounds absolutely amazingly delicious. We're gonna get in line and we're gonna test out the Sweet Squeakers, again, a brand new item for 2025. So right here, we have the Sweet Squeakers. It's funnel cake battered white cheddar cheese curds topped with lemon whipped cream and a berry sauce with little crumbles on top. One of the things that I really appreciate about this is that they didn't just take cheese curds and put whipped cream on it. They took white cheddar cheese curds, put it in funnel cake batter, deep fried it, but then they put that lemon whipped cream and that berry sauce on top. This is gonna be interesting. All right, we're just gonna try this out. Oh my God. The Blue Barn has absolutely done it again. The cheese curds don't taste overly fried. There's no like greasy residue to the cheese curds. This is like eating cheesy French toast with a lemon and berry flavor to it. Adding that sweetness with a lemon whipped cream and that berry topping takes that to a level where you've got savory and you've got sweet all in one bite. This is absolutely amazing. So next up, we are here at Coasters, which is right across the way from the Midway. They always have something kind of unique and bizarre cooking in their kitchen. And this year, they have a brand new item for 2025 that is absolutely bizarre. We are going in for the Uncrusta burger. I have no idea how this is gonna go. We're just gonna go in and try this out. But we're not going that way though. Maybe that way? I don't know. Well, looks like I'm gonna play Red Rover here. So again, here at Coasters, they always have something quite peculiar, new, unique, and bizarre on their menu. And this year, I think they've outdone themselves. So right here, we have the Uncrusta burger. And this monstrosity is a 4-ounce burger patty with cheese, pickles, special sauce, and all that gets sandwiched between 2 peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables that are deep fried. All right, so I'm not just gonna pick this bad boy up and eat it. I'm gonna cut it in half. Oh, look at that. That peanut butter is just molten. I don't know why they give them to you on these tiny little plates, but we're gonna work with what we've got. That is just ooey gooey peanut butter and jelly dripping all over this burger. Now this is a weird frickin' food. This thing is so hard to handle. It's dripping all that molten peanut butter and jelly all over the place. So I'm just gonna dig in, take a bite, we'll try this out. So I guess I'll preface this by saying that if you thought that this was disgusting, you're right, but you're wrong. I will say that that cheeseburger in the middle gets completely lost within the 2 Uncrustables. All you really taste is that peanut butter and jelly. You're really not tasting the cheese. You're really not tasting that burger meat. I really was hoping that these 2 Uncrustables, that peanut butter, that jelly, that meat, that cheese, I was hoping that all of that would create a flavor sensation that was unlike anything I've ever had before. Unfortunately, it's not. All the flavors that could have come out in this very unique and bizarre cheeseburger combo get lost between those Uncrustables. I think that if they would have used a bottom bun and one Uncrustable on top, that peanut butter and jelly would not be as overpowering. So really, all it tastes like you're eating is deep fried peanut butter and jelly. Sadly, coasters, this one's not a hit. All right, so right over there, I see Fluffy's Donut Shop. They have something new for 2025 that we absolutely have to try out. This, excuse me, do you want this? This is really delicious. All right, so next up, we are here at Fluffy's. They have some of the most amazing, bizarre, unique, and delicious donut creations here at the fair. This year, they've got a new one that I am just dying to try out, and that is their Hot Honey Jalapeno Popper Donut. It's a hand-cut yeast-raised donut topped with jalapeno cream cheese with crumpled bacon, pickled jalapenos, and drizzled with hot honey. It's just another one of the unique and kind of weird donut creations that can be found here at Fluffy's. This hot honey is dripping out all over the place. I'm wasting no time. I'm going to try it out. So disappointing. All right, so usually when you try out new foods here at the State Fair, especially concoctions like this, you want to be wowed. And this is so sadly underwhelming. All you taste really is the heat from the jalapenos. The idea of having jalapeno infused frosting on top of this just completely overwhelms your taste buds. It really detracts from how spicy and sweet I think that they kind of wanted this to be, and so did I. The taste of that hot honey just gets completely lost within all the other flavors of this donut. And sadly, that flavor of that jalapeno is so overwhelming, you forget that there's actually bacon on top of this. Unfortunately, this one is not a hit, which is a rare miss for Fluffy's because they have some really incredible donuts out there. But this one, I'm just gonna have to say, jalapeno. Ugh. So here at the north end of the State Fair, you're going to find one of the most kind of famous institutions here at the Minnesota State Fair, and that is Giggles Campfire Grill. They have some culinary creations there that emanate the Northwoods. Out of their Northwoods cabin, they serve some kind of Northwoods-oriented culinary creations that are not only unique, delicious, but sometimes they're just a little plain weird. Every time I walk down here to the north end of the fair just to go to Giggles, there is always a line around the block, which shows just how popular they really are. And here we got two items, one of which is a new item for 2025. These are Timber Twists. It's a mixture of Italian sausage, mozzarella cream cheese, and barbecue stuffed into 3 large manicotti shells, then wrapped in bacon and cooked on a wood fire grill. The next item we got at Giggles is the duck bacon wontons. I've heard of turkey bacon, I've heard of beef bacon. I have never heard of duck bacon before. Didn't know you could get bacon from a duck. But it's stuffed with grilled sweet corn and cream cheese, stuffed into a crescent-shaped wonton, and then deep fried to a crunchy, crispy golden brown. So first up, I'm trying out the Timber Twists. As soon as I get my hair out of my face. Here we go. Oh, wow. This is unreal. That Italian sausage has that nice Italian seasoning to it, and that bacon and that barbecue rub brings that flavor profile to an entirely new level. This is like Italian cuisine meets northern Minnesota cuisine, and that's combined into a flavor sensation that is absolutely unreal. If you're a meat lover out there, it is well worth the walk to the north end of the fair to get a Timber Twist. This is absolutely delicious, and it's meat heaven on a fork. Wow. Yeah. You feel like a man when you eat this. I mean, I'm about to start grunting. All right, so next up, we've got the duck wontons. I've never had duck bacon before. As I said, I didn't even know you could get bacon out of a duck. Kind of interesting. Let's try them out. Oh wow, this is really interesting. This is just jam-packed with flavor, nice cheesy flavor. There's not just a little bit of duck bacon in here just so that they can use it as a novelty to sell wontons. This is actually stuffed with duck bacon. It's almost like a duck bacon pizza roll. So on the side is this orange dipping sauce that comes with these wontons. We're just gonna give that a little bath in this dipping sauce and try it out like this. Duck goes good with orange. Duck all orange. So why wouldn't it go good with duck bacon wontons? Let's find out. It's good, but I kind of feel like it takes away from the flavors of the wonton without the orange sauce. The orange sauce is kind of overpowering. It has a very strong flavor, kind of like orange marmalade. I much prefer it without the orange marmalade. Either way, these two items, the Timber Twist being new for 2025, these two items from Giggles Campfire Grill, this is some of the best fair food I've had here today at the Minnesota State Fair. These two items are not only kind of unique, bizarre, and a little bit weird, but these are just absolutely downright delicious. So if you tuned into the video from the Wisconsin State Fair just a couple of videos ago, then you might recognize this place, which didn't make it in that video because every time I came to this place in the Wisconsin State Fair, the line was literally around the block, and I simply didn't have that much time to stand in line, and I had total FOMO that I missed this place. Well, I'm getting a second chance because for the first time, they are here at the Minnesota State Fair. This is Lumpia City. It's Filipino fusion spring rolls, and I'm here for the ube butter banana French toast lumpia. All right, so that line wasn't as long as it was at the Wisconsin State Fair, but I finally got my hands on this. This is the ube butter banana French toast egg rolls. It's French toast sticks soaked in ube butter, caramelized bananas, dusted with powdered sugar. This is Filipino fusion egg rolls at its finest. Of all the weird, kind of bizarre foods that you can find here at the Minnesota State Fair, this one may prove to be the most delicious. I'm just digging in and giving it a try. Oh wow. That is unbelievably delicious. It's a really interesting texture. You have that crunchiness and the flavor of an egg roll, but you have all this sweet French toast, ube butter, and banana inside. That ube butter is so smooth, so flavorful. Coupled with the banana, this is one incredibly delicious, and let's face it, rather bizarre fair food. If I had FOMO before that I missed this place at the Wisconsin State Fair, I am so glad that this is their first year here at the Minnesota State Fair. This, obviously, because it's their first time, is a new food item for 2025 and one that you absolutely have to put on your list. Sure. This is one of the most sweet, tasty, and delicious items that I've had at the fair so far today. So if you're from Minnesota, you probably have heard of Spam. If you're not from Minnesota, perhaps you've also heard of Spam. But Spam is one of those things that is very unique to Minnesota. It was invented here, and it's still made right here in Minnesota. And right over here, we've got the Spam booth. You can either get a Spam burger for 10 bucks, or you can get Spam curds. I don't know what Spam curds are, but it's weird, and we're gonna try it. So right here we have a Minnesota delicacy, and if you don't know what Spam is, well, I think everybody in the world kind of knows what Spam is.
I don't like Spam! Don't make a fuss, dude. I love your Spam. I love it.
I don't really know the exact history of Spam. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. If you know the history of Spam or anything about it, feel free to leave those comments in the comment section below. But I believe that Spam is two words smashed into one, just like this meat is smashed into a can. I believe it means spiced ham. Spam. Again, if I'm right, leave it in the comment section below. But right here, we have something very unique to the State Fair, and that is Spam curds. These are chopped up pieces of Spam that are breaded and then deep fried, and I got it with a side of ranch. All right, so I am going to give this a dip in that ranch sauce, and we're just gonna try this out. So the interesting thing about Spam is that it kind of has a very loose texture. It doesn't taste like ham. It doesn't have the texture of ham. It doesn't have the texture or the taste of pork. It just kind of tastes like generic meat. However, when it's battered and deep fried and dipped in ranch, this is actually pretty delicious considering that spam is, well, spam. All right, so for our final weird food here at the Minnesota State Fair, I'm heading right over here to Fried Olives to try a new item for 2025, fried black olives. This could be interesting. So right here we have our deep fried olives, and last year I wanted to try this, but they only had deep fried green olives. Not really a fan of green olives. I am a fan, however, of black olives. So when I saw that they had deep fried black olives, this was my year to try it. So it's 6 olives stuffed with mozzarella, battered and then deep fried on a stick with a side of marinara sauce. All right, so I'm gonna give it a nice good soak in that marinara sauce, and we're just gonna try this out. So I'll just say this. In past years, when I have tried some of the most bizarre, weird foods at a state fair, they turned out to be unbelievably delicious. This year with our selection, there's been some real misses. This may be the biggest miss yet. There is hardly any flavor to it. You can't even really taste that mozzarella cheese. It's deep fried to the point where that cheese kind of dried out. Kind of like the mozzarella sticks that you get at Olive Garden. They're just basically so over fried that they're hollow inside. This is kind of that, but the olives themselves are obviously canned olives, not a lot of flavor to it. This is a real big, sad disappointment. Not only that, but this cost $12. So there's 6 olives on a stick, basically $2 per olive, which frankly, that juice ain't worth the squeeze, to be honest. So those are just a few of the unique, bizarre, weird, but frickin' delicious foods that you can find here at the Minnesota State Fair. And again, sadly, some of them were just complete strikeouts. Others were some of the best fair food I've ever had. So comment below and let me know what your favorite food is that you've ever had, either here at the Minnesota State Fair or at the State Fair from wherever you're from. Comment below, let me know what your favorite fair food is. And be sure to tune in to next week's video, where I'm eating only at the vendors here at the Minnesota State Fair that gross over $1 million in the 12 days of the fair. And I'm taking you behind the scenes to show you how each of those vendors prepare all the food that serves millions of fairgoers. That video is coming up next week, but until then, if you're hungry for more, check out that video right there. If you're starving for more, check out that playlist right there. Please do not forget to hit like and subscribe. Where's that song coming from?